let's see a simple example of CVP analysis. Kay has an e-tail poster business. She currently has each poster for $35, meaning that this is while each poster has a variable cost of 20. So like this is the variable cost, this is the price, right? Variable cost per unit, and this one price per unit. K has fixed cost of 7,000. This is fixed cost. K is currently selling 550 posters. This is the unit. This we call it price per quantity, variable cost per quantity. This one the quantity. Okay. So this is the contribution margin income statement. If like in the future I'm going to ask you make the contributing income statement. So this is what you need to do. So firstly you need to calculate the revenue and then less the total variable expenses, and then you're gonna get contribution margin and then minus fixed expenses, then you got operating income. Okay. And then unit contribution margin, case e-tail poster example from previous slides. Yeah, so the sales price per quantity is $35 less variable cost per unit, we got 21 US dollar. So and then contribution margin per unit is $14. Okay, this one contribution margin per unit, this one is the total contribution margin or only contribution margin. Okay. Okay, and then now assume sales are 650 units. So from this information, now we assume that you make sales, you sell 650 units, and then how much is your operating income? So you just simply multiply this for $14, which is the contribution margin per unit. 14 multiply with 650 units, and then you got 9,100 contribution margin. And then you minus the fixed expenses. Remember the fixed expenses here is 7,000. Fixed expenses is 7,000. Fixed cost 7,000. Then you minus this, and then you got operating income of 2,100. Okay. And this is contribution margin ratio. So contribution margin ratio is percentage of each sales dollar that is available for covering fixed expenses and generating profit. So mathematically, this definition can be made by this one. Okay. So contribution margin ratio equals to contribution margin per unit and divided with the sales price per unit, or contribution margin ratio equals to contribution margin divided with the sales revenue. Then you put the numbers here, and then you got 40%. So your contribution margin ratio is 40%. Okay. So what does it mean actually 40%? So remember that contribution margin is contribution margin equals to sales minus variable cost, right? So if your contribution margin is 40% here, okay, so and then sales 100%, so meaning that the variable cost is 60%. Okay, so this just want to test the numbers. So by looking at this, your variable cost is quite high, 60% of the sales that you make. Okay, and from this 100 sales that you make, 40% in contribution margin. Okay, but remember you still need to cover the fixed cost to get the operating income. Okay.